starting YouTube again. So why now? Why jump back on YouTube in 2026 when arguably it's failed a few times in the past? And I think I realised that my reasons it's failed in the past is because there was no real direction for me doing it other than because it's what other people were doing. It was something I was trying to keep up with rather than doing it because I had a passion or I had a reason for doing it. But over the past 2 to 5 years, my life's drastically changed. I've got 3 kids now. I've been promoted to lead educator of Wild Pro UK. I've got 2 shops. So there's a lot of stuff in my life now that, one, I want to start documenting to share the process with you. But 2, there's a clear goal for me. I started taking my social media a lot more seriously over the years. I've now worked with some really cool brands, creating some really cool content. So I want to kind of document that and show the process to yourself and also to keep it for me so I can look back on at the end of my career or show my kids when they get older. So for me now, vlogging is a digital diary. There's a purpose for it. It's multi-use for social media. I can use it across all platforms, but there's a purpose behind it now, and I think it's going to hold me accountable. In the past, whenever I've done YouTube, there'd always be stuff that got in the way. It would be my camera wasn't good enough, or I didn't have the right plugins for my editing software, or I was too busy, or this or that. So this time I'm keeping it all simple. I'm shooting on my iPhone. I've got a basic mic set up because I want to get that consistency built. Because until I've got that consistency and that structure locked down, buying a better camera is not going to make me a better YouTube. Surely, right? We've got a few projects on the go today. First one is the front door of the shop. It's just been battered through weather, coldness, wetness, swelling, it's all split. So we need to paint the new one, get that put back on. And then I'm shooting some really cool content for a product brand American Crew this evening, which I'll show you a bit of behind the scenes on. But before any of that can happen, we need to find coffee. Superstar, thank you. As you can see, over the years, this is just split, fractured, pretty much no good anymore. So this one's coming off. And the one we've got at the back of the shop over there is getting painted and put back on. If this is what I think it is, it's going to be an absolute game changer. I cannot wait to show you guys what's inside this box, but I can't release it yet, so stay tuned. Job 1 done, second coat this afternoon, but I'm enjoying this YouTube at the moment. It's a bit of fun, no pressure on it. There's a reason why I'm doing it, but the pressure element is off at the moment because it's just point and shoot. Pick my iPhone up, clamp it to a window, clamp it to a door, and just start documenting. It may go somewhere, it may not, but we'll see what happens. The rest of the day now is clients back to back till about 7 PM, and then I'll be shooting the content for the product brand, which I'm going to do a bit of behind the scenes on just to show you my kind of setup for how I shoot for these brands, the aesthetic, the lighting, the cameras, and just kind of how I make my life as efficient as possible, because I know some of you watching this will be in the barbering industry and you'll want to be getting into that kind of space, and that's what this journey is for me really, is to share how I do things, because I get asked quite a lot, how do you get in with Wild? How do you get in with product brands? How do you work shows? So this channel is going to be a lot of documenting and sharing my tips and knowledge on how I actually do that. We're We've got the Flying Scotsman with us today, third day with us now.
What's happening, guys?
As you can see, he's brought the shite Scottish weather down with him, but hopefully the sun will come out to see us soon. Shining for the channel. So something I've kind of neglected to realise when it comes to vlogging, especially on a phone, is if you're not using a form of external storage device like an SSD, it's very hard to organise your content that you're catching because it's all kept on one place. So I think moving forward, that's either going to be the route I go down. I'll either get an SSD and attach it to this phone, or maybe look at going back to a camera, because for me, with my workload when it comes to working with brands and receiving messages and images on a daily basis, to then have all my content in the same place as that, it's just going to get confusing. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this is something that you struggled with when you come to vlogging, and if an SSD has been a good way to manage this, or you think reverting back to a camera is the way forward. This is the setup that I shoot most of my content on for the brands that I work with, for most of my daily stuff. And to some people it might be outdated, but for me it does exactly what it needs to. So I'm shooting on an A7 III, and I'm shooting with a 50mm prime lens with a variable ND on it. Now, I know I'm inside a shop, so a variable ND would probably be a bit strange for people, but because we have so many lights in here, we've got ring lights, we've got LED strips, it has to be bright to cut hair in, we have to have the ND on it because everything's overexposed, and because of the picture profiles that I used to shoot on, this little puppy comes absolutely in handy. So originally I was going to film the actual process of creating the content, but because it's for a brand and it's contracted, I can't actually release that content before they release it. So unfortunately I didn't get to film that, but I did want to take you through the setup, which we just explained. But the reason I had that simple setup is because the shop was still open. People were still working, the boys had clients in, so I couldn't take up too much space. Sometimes if I'm working on set or I'm working outside work hours, I'll have proper lighting set up, and I'll have proper mics on a boom mic set up to really enhance the space. But this does a perfectly good job. I've got the ring light to light the area. I've got the background of just a plain textured wall. When we created the shop, I wanted to have an area that I could film against if I needed to do it in the shop time. And for me, it just improves my efficiency. I can cut down the time that I'm spending filming, so I'm not having to stay too much after work, which then means that I can work with more brands because I can still be at home, I can still see my kids, still see my wife, and it's not mixing the two together too much. So for me, a simple setup like the A7 III with a 50mm lens and a softbox or a ring light does the job for 90% of the jobs that I need to have done. Something I'm going to expand on, especially with this, is I'm going to muck around with a few different lenses. Maybe chuck a 35 or even like a 11mm lens on it so I can get some wide angle shots of when I'm doing it. But that's day done. I'm just going to wrap up. I'm going to close up the shop. I'm going to go home. It's been a good day. It's been good. The vlogging experience has been an interesting one to kind of get back into. There's a bit of oil that needs put in the machine to really get back into the flow of it, but I'm just going to go home and I'm going to edit this and see what happens. But moving forward, it's definitely achievable. What we spoke about earlier with the external hard drive to kind of save the memory, or going back to the camera, I'm still on the fence about. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but time will tell.